Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a fascinating and often frustrating paradox in dating. Why do women seem to chase men who don't prioritize them while overlooking the ones who genuinely care? This isn't just another bad boy versus nice guy debate. This goes deeper. It's about how human psychology, especially female psychology, responds to perceived value. The truth is that women are naturally drawn to men who present themselves as high value. And paradoxically, when a man makes a woman the center of his world too soon, it often backfires. Instead of appreciating him more, she may take him for granted. So, what's happening here? Why do men who hold back their attention, focus on their purpose and remain slightly out of reach, seem to trigger stronger attraction? And how can you, as a man, shift your approach to naturally draw women toward you, without playing games or pretending to be someone you're not? In this video, we'll break down the psychology behind this dynamic and explore 7 key reasons women tend to be drawn to men who don't put them on a pedestal. By the end, you'll clearly understand how attraction works and how to apply these insights in your own life. Sticking around until the end, because the final takeaway could completely change how you approach dating and relationships. Let's get into it. 1. Women crave what they can't have. Human nature has always been drawn to scarcity. People crave what they cannot easily have. The same principle applies to attraction. A woman may not consciously recognize this, but the more readily available a man makes himself, the less exciting he becomes. If he is always responding instantly, always eager to please, always prioritizing her above all else, he unknowingly signals that he has nothing else demanding his time or attention. Over time, she begins to take him for granted. Women are naturally intrigued by mystery. They are drawn to a man who does not lay all his cards on the table, who does not make his every move predictable. When a man is not constantly chasing, not always reaching out first, and not overflowing with compliments at every turn, it triggers a subtle but powerful curiosity. She begins to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Does he have other options? That uncertainty, that small gap of not knowing, makes him more compelling. His time and attention become something to earn, rather than something freely given. A man who understands this does not play games, nor does he intentionally withhold attention just to create desire. Instead, he naturally maintains a rich and fulfilling life outside of any romantic interest. He has his own goals, ambitions, and priorities. He does not drop everything when a woman enters his life, because he knows that doing so diminishes his sense of purpose and weakens her attraction to him. Women admire men who have direction and are not defined by their need for validation from any one person. On the other hand, a man who is too available, who texts too often, compliments excessively, and is always eager to initiate plans, may think he is showing devotion. He is becoming predictable, removing all sense of anticipation from the interaction. There is no excitement in something that is always within reach. When effort is unnecessary, appreciation fades. Attraction thrives on a balance of presence and absence, certainty and unpredictability. A woman values what she has to invest in. If she never has to put in any effort to keep a man's attention, she may not consciously realize it, but her respect and desire for him begin to wane. The men who stand out are the ones who do not give themselves away too quickly, who know their worth, and who let a woman wonder just enough to keep her engaged. This is not manipulation, it is the natural dynamic of human attraction. A man who understands this principle carries himself with quiet confidence. He does not need to chase because he is already whole. He does not need to prove his worth because his actions and presence speak for themselves. And in that self-assurance, he He becomes the kind of man a woman cannot help but be drawn to. 2. Respect is earned, not given. Many men operate under the assumption that if they are kind, generous, and accommodating, respect from a woman will naturally follow. They believe they will earn her admiration by always being agreeable and putting her needs above theirs. But respect does not work that way. It cannot be gifted or traded for good behavior. It must be cultivated through strength, self-worth, and the ability to stand firm in one's value. A woman does not respect a man simply because he is nice. Niceness, while appreciated, is not a defining factor in attraction or admiration. Respect is built when a man demonstrates that he has standards, will not compromise his values to please someone else, and views himself as worthy regardless of external validation. A man who respects himself naturally commands the same from others. He does not demand it, nor does he plead for it. He simply embodies it. Consider two men. The first man does everything he believes a woman wants. He agrees with her on every point, avoids conflict at all costs, and prioritizes her happiness above his own, thinking that this will make her see his value. But instead of earning her respect, he does the opposite. She sees him as someone who lacks conviction, does not stand for anything, and whose need for approval overrides his sense of self. Without realizing it, he positions himself as weak, and in turn, she cannot look up to him. Now, imagine a second man. He is kind, but he is not a pushover. He values his time and energy and does not compromise his principles to avoid discomfort. When she expresses an opinion he disagrees with, he is not afraid to challenge her with his perspective, not aggressively, but with confidence and conviction. If she behaves entitled or disrespectfully, he does not tolerate it. He sets a boundary. He does not fear her reaction, nor does he seek her validation. Instead, he remains firm in his self-respect, and in doing so, he earns hers. Women admire men who carry themselves with an unshakable sense of self, a man who does not place her above his value but instead views her as an equal participant in the relationship. A man who understands that while kindness and generosity are essential, they must be rooted in strength, not desperation for approval. A woman may appreciate a man's attentiveness, but she respects his ability to stand firm. She may enjoy his kindness, but she is drawn to the quiet confidence that shows he does not need her validation to feel whole. When a man prioritizes a woman's opinion of him over his self-respect, he loses the quality that makes him attractive. Respect, like leadership, is not something that can be begged for. It is earned through action, consistency, and an unwavering sense of self-worth. And the men who understand this are the ones who not only gain respect, but also cultivate deep, lasting connections built on genuine admiration rather than fleeting approval. 3. The silent killer of attraction. Attraction cannot be forced, begged for, or demanded. It is a natural response to confidence, presence, and a man's ability to carry himself confidently. Yet many men unknowingly sabotage their appeal by seeking validation from women, allowing their self-worth to rise and fall based on a single text message or a fleeting sign of interest. This desperation is not only ineffective, it is a powerful repellent. Women instinctively sense when a man is looking for approval. His energy shifts based on how she responds. If she takes longer than expected to reply, his mood drops. If she seems distant, he compensates by over-texting, over-complimenting, or overly agreeing with her opinions as if trying to force a connection. He does not realize that every desperate action sends an unspoken message. I need you to like me so I can feel good about myself. And nothing drains attraction faster than that. A high-value man operates differently. He does not measure his worth by how quickly a woman responds, nor does he see her interest as the ultimate validation of his masculinity. He understands that attraction is not something to be chased, it is something to be inspired. He does not double text in panic if she does not reply immediately. He does not shower her with empty flattery in hopes of earning points. Instead, he moves with an abundance mindset, knowing that one woman's attention does not define his value. When a woman senses that a man is trying too hard, her subconscious immediately questions his worth. She wonders why he is so eager to please, why he seems to seek her approval, and ultimately, what is wrong with him. Why would he be so desperate for validation if he were genuinely confident? If he had options, why would he act like her attention was his only source of fulfillment? This unspoken doubt erodes attraction before it has a chance to grow. Men who understand this principle behave differently. They set the tone of an interaction rather than react to it. They are comfortable with silence, unfazed by delayed responses, and indifferent to small tests of interest or disinterest. They carry themselves with a quiet confidence that tells a woman, "I am already whole. Whether you recognize it or not is up to you." Paradoxically, this lack of neediness makes them infinitely more attractive. The difference between desperation and confidence is not in words, but in energy. A man who is secure in himself does not have to prove it, he simply embodies it. He does not look to a woman to complete him because he is already complete. And that is the foundation upon which real attraction is built. 4. The power of indifference. Attraction is not built on availability alone. It thrives in the space between certainty and mystery, where emotions are engaged, and the possibility of loss makes something more valuable. When a man is too predictable, too eager to please, or desperate for validation, he inadvertently diminishes his appeal. Women respond emotionally to uncertainty, not because they enjoy confusion, but because unpredictability ignites curiosity and desire. A man who understands this does not chase approval. He does not overcompensate when a woman pulls away, nor does he react with panic or frustration. Instead, he remains steady, focused on his own life. This quiet indifference shifts the dynamic entirely. While a needy man rushes to close the gap, sending more messages, seeking reassurance, trying harder, a man who values himself simply lets the space exist. He does not try to force closeness or demand an immediate response. In doing so, he allows doubt to take root in her mind, which fuels attraction. A woman naturally invests more in a man she perceives as independent. If she senses that he is content, whether she is there, her emotions begin to work in his favor. She wonders why he is not chasing or reacting the way others might. This creates an internal tension that draws her closer. If she believes she could lose him, she pays more attention. It is not manipulation, it is human nature. People value what they might lose more than what is guaranteed. A high-value man operates from a place of abundance. He does not see one interaction as make or break, nor does he view any single woman as the defining factor of his happiness. His confidence is not conditional. He does not fear distance because he understands that genuine connection does not require constant validation. He distinguishes himself effortlessly when he remains composed in moments when others might become reactive. Women do not fall for indifference alone. They fall for the strength behind it. A genuinely secure man who does not seek approval but welcomes connection without fear of loss is magnetic. He does not push away, nor does he pull in desperation. He simply remains, allowing the woman to move toward him on her terms. And when she does, it is not because she was pressured or persuaded, but because she felt the undeniable pull of his presence. 5. Women want men that other women want. Social proof. Attraction is not just about personal qualities or looks, it is deeply influenced by perception. A man who other women desire naturally appears more attractive. This is not simply a matter of competition, but a psychological response. When women see that other women are drawn to a man, they instinctively wonder, what is so special about him? What qualities does he possess that make him stand out? Even without direct interaction, his value rises in their eyes because others have already validated it. Conversely, a man who struggles to attract female attention faces a different challenge. Women subconsciously assume there must be a reason why he is overlooked. It can create doubt if no other woman finds him interesting, desirable, or engaging. Social proof is decisive in shaping attraction, signaling that a man is worth noticing. This is why men in happy relationships, or those frequently around women, often receive even more attention. Their desirability is confirmed through real-world interactions, making them appear more confident, engaging, and valuable. This phenomenon is not about pretending to be someone you are not, or fabricating attraction. Social proof cannot be faked. It is the natural byproduct of becoming a high-value man. Confidence, purpose, and an engaging presence naturally draw people in. A man who lives with conviction, has fulfilling relationships, and exudes self-assurance will always be more attractive than one simply seeking approval. Women recognize and respond to this energy because it signals strength and security. The key is not to chase validation, but to embody the qualities that make a man genuinely desirable. The moment a man stops seeking attention and instead focuses on living a rich, engaging life, the attention follows. Women are drawn to status, popularity, and the aura of a man who knows his worth. When a man is comfortable in his skin, has options, and does not desperately seek approval, he becomes naturally magnetic. A high-value man does not need to convince anyone of his worth. His actions speak for themselves. Social proof is not about manipulation, but about demonstrating through experience and behavior that a man is worth investing in. Women notice, consciously or not, when a man is in demand. And that demand, when genuine, is one of the most potent forces in attraction. 6. Attention loses value when it's free. Many men mistakenly believe that the more attention they give a woman, the more she will appreciate them. They flood her inbox with messages, shower her with compliments, and eagerly respond to every tiny detail of her life, assuming their consistency will set them apart. But instead of making them seem valuable, this unfiltered attention has the opposite effect. It diminishes their presence and makes them seem too readily available. Attention is a form of currency, and like anything given away too freely, it loses value when it requires no effort to obtain. Women instinctively recognize the difference between a man who offers attention because he sees genuine value in her, and a man who offers it indiscriminately in the hopes of winning favor. The former is intriguing, the latter is forgettable. When a man constantly checks in, over-compliments, or responds instantly to every message, he signals that his time and energy are not in high demand. He unknowingly communicates that his attention is easy to acquire, which makes it less desirable. A woman may initially enjoy the attention, but if she does not have to work for it in any way, if there is no challenge, no sense of earning it, she will inevitably take it for granted. A high-value man operates differently. He is selective with where he directs his energy. He does not chase approval, validation, or give attention merely to receive something in return. Instead, he focuses on his priorities and only offers attention when he genuinely feels it is deserved. This does not mean playing games or being deliberately distant. It means having a fulfilling life that his attention naturally holds weight when given. When a woman has to work for a man's focus, when she feels something about him that she wants to understand or uncover, the dynamic shifts. She no longer sees his attention as something given freely, but as something meaningful. She values it more because she recognizes it is not offered to anyone. In reality, a man's presence carries weight only when it is not overextended. He stands apart from the rest if he can give attention without needing anything in return and engage without seeking constant validation. Women do not gravitate toward men who beg for their time. They are drawn to those with a presence that speaks for itself, a presence that is strong, confident, and unmistakably valuable. 7. Men who prioritize themselves always win. Many men make the mistake of placing women at the center of their world, believing that constant pursuit, attention, and devotion will win a woman's heart. They sacrifice their ambitions, neglect their personal growth, and reshape their lives to gain approval. But this approach not only diminishes their sense of self, it also makes them less attractive. Women are drawn to men who have a strong sense of purpose, prioritize their growth, and are already fulfilled within themselves. A man who chases excellence rather than validation commands respect effortlessly. He does not seek external approval because he is already secure in who he is. He invests in his career, fitness, mindset, and vision for the future. He moves with certainty, knowing that his worth is not determined by whether or not a woman chooses him. Paradoxically, this very independence is what makes him magnetic. A woman does not want to be a man's sole focus. She wants to be drawn into his world, which already holds meaning and direction, with or without her presence. The difference between a man who prioritizes himself and a man who prioritizes women is evident in their energy. One exudes confidence, stability, and quiet power. The other radiates uncertainty, neediness, and a subconscious plea for validation. Women instinctively recognize this. They sense when a man is chasing them out of insecurity rather than genuine connection. They notice when he puts his goals aside to win their favor, and instead of feeling flattered, they feel the weight of that imbalance. A man who places his identity in the hands of a woman will always find himself at her mercy, adjusting his life to fit what he believes she wants, rather than standing firm in his values. But a man already fulfilled does not need a woman, he chooses her. He does not seek love to complete him, but to complement the life he has already built. He moves forward with or without romantic validation because his primary mission is not external approval but internal mastery. And this level of self-assurance naturally draws women in. They want to be part of a journey already in motion, not the reason for its existence. Men who focus on themselves always win, not because they manipulate attraction, but because they align with a more profound truth. A man's value is not defined by how many women want him, but by the strength of his character, the depth of his ambition, and his ability to stand firm in who he is. When he embraces this fully, he no longer has to chase. The right woman will recognize his worth, not because he demands it, but because he embodies it. Women don't fall for the man who treats them the best, they fall for the man they have to earn. When something is too quickly given, it loses its value. This is why the men who prioritize themselves, their goals, and their personal growth naturally attract women, while those who prioritize women too soon often push them away. The key takeaway is simple: stop chasing and start leading. High-value men don't seek validation, they become the prize. Everything changes when you shift your focus from seeking approval to becoming the best version of yourself. Women respect men who respect themselves, have a purpose, and don't give away their attention freely. So, ask yourself, are you leading your life with confidence and purpose, or are you seeking validation from someone else? The choice is yours. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love your experiences and insights, and if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content on self-improvement, attraction, and personal growth. See you in the next one.